Revenge films.
My name is Henry. I'm a 35-year-old office worker. My wife, Elena, is 31. She recently started working part-time. We've been married for 2 years and don't have any children yet. Lately, she's been glued to her phone even during dinner. Hey, can't you put your phone away while we're eating?
I can't help it. I do all the housework and I've started working part-time. Can't I at least do what I want during dinner?
When I lightly scolded her, she snapped back angrily. Irritated, I replied, "You're the one who suddenly said you wanted to work part-time, and if you wanted to work at a gym, there was one hiring near our neighborhood. You didn't have to go somewhere that far."
It's only a 30-minute commute. Stop complaining.
Since then, we've been arguing like this more and more often. At first, I thought it was just because we both started working and were seeing less of each other. But as she started coming home later and later, I began to suspect she might be cheating on me. She'd say things like a coworker invited her to dinner or she had to work overtime, perfectly reasonable excuses, but I could feel another man's presence. I checked her phone, but there was no solid evidence of an affair. No photos or videos with another man, no messages. Maybe she was deleting them regularly. Still, I could clearly sense something going on. Dating apps. 3 of them. She was probably always on her phone because she was using those dating apps. I looked through them, but there wasn't any concrete proof. Maybe she was deleting the messages one by one or saving them somewhere else. I couldn't find anything. Still, just being registered on a dating app isn't enough to prove infidelity. It would be impossible to demand compensation for that. So what should I do? I decided to register on one of the dating apps my wife was using. I should use a fake name. Let's go with Hayes. I chose that name because it sounded somewhat similar to my real one. I made my profile as a 35-year-old married office worker, everything true except the name. I quickly found my wife's profile on the app. Most of what she wrote was also true. All right, let's send her a message. I exchanged a few harmless messages with her, being careful not to raise suspicion. Over the next few days, we continued talking. "This is Hayes. Would you like to meet secretly, just the 2 of us, without telling your husband?" I had finally decided to take action to lure in my wife, who had fallen deep into the world of dating apps. My wife replied quickly,
I'm a pro at this, so I can teach you anything. But maybe it's a bit too soon for us to meet alone.
I thought she'd take the bait right away, but it wasn't going to be that easy. Still, it was clear she was having an affair. The next day, we were having dinner together. Without looking up from her phone, she said casually,
Would it be okay if I went out with a friend on Sunday? I might be home a little late.
"How late are we talking?"
I should be back by 8 at the latest.
She replied. Before, I might have thought she was just being considerate so we could still have dinner together. But now I knew that she was just trying to make her story sound believable so I wouldn't suspect she was out late at night cheating. It seemed my wife was being extremely cautious to avoid getting caught. Late Sunday night, I sent her a message on the dating app using my fake account. If she had met her lover that day, she'd probably be in high spirits. It's not like she could talk about her affair at her part-time job or brag about it to me, so I figured she'd be itching to talk to someone. I made up a fake story about my own affair to shift the topic. "Actually, my wife almost caught me cheating the other night."
That's typical. Beginners in affairs always do that. They get too into it and come home late. But that kind of carelessness is exactly how people get caught.
Wow, you really know your stuff. Just like you said, you're a pro. Just as I thought, she was excited. The messages came faster than usual.
Never leave obvious evidence on your phone. Don't come home late. As long as you stay calm, there's no way your affair will be discovered, especially if your spouse is as stupid as mine.
Is that so?
Of course. That's the conclusion I've come to after months of having an affair.
Her confidence was showing through her words. I kept the conversation going, pretending to admire her skills, and over the following days, I grew closer to her. All right, maybe it's time. I decided to ask about the man she was seeing. I expected her to be suspicious if I asked too directly, but surprisingly, she started talking.
Well, he's on the fast track to promotion, graduated from a top university. He's what you'd call an elite. I'm sure he'll become an executive at the head office someday.
She went on, bragging about him, though she avoided giving away his real name or personal details. So how did you meet such a great guy?
Through this dating app.
But isn't it hard to meet up in person?
Not at all. I chose my part-time job at his workplace.
That's when I finally understood why my wife had suddenly wanted to start working part-time. I see now. She hadn't just met her lover at work by chance. She'd actually chosen that part-time job so she could meet up more easily with the man she met through a dating app. Twisted logic, but I had to admit it was almost clever. She clearly thought I was a complete stranger and was speaking very openly. For an outsider, a full-time employee at her part-time job wouldn't be enough information to identify the man. But I wasn't just anyone. All right, I'll hire a private investigator. I hired one and told them my wife was having an affair with a full-time employee at her workplace. Before long, I had photos and solid evidence in my hands, along with information about the man. When I consulted a lawyer, they said I could definitely claim compensation. Around that same time, I got a message from my wife on the app.
If you'd like, shall we meet sometime?
I had been thinking about the best way to confront her, how to make the truth hit her hardest. When I saw that message, it clicked. I replied, "Yes, I'd love to meet." On the day of our meeting, I peeked into the cafe we'd chosen and saw her already sitting there. She'd told me she had to cover for a sick coworker, but here she was calmly sipping a drink. Her casual lie made my blood boil, but I reminded myself to stay calm. Since we couldn't see each other's faces on the app, we had agreed to wear hats as identification. Mine was black, hers white. I put on the wide-brimmed black hat I'd bought just for this day and walked straight to her table, sitting down across from her.
Are you Mr. Hayes?
She started to say, but froze halfway through. She must have realized it was me.
What are you doing here?
She stammered, glancing nervously toward the door. She was probably terrified that her lover might show up any second. Ignoring her question, I took off my hat and introduced myself. "Nice to meet you. I'm Hayes, the guy you've been getting along with on the dating app." Her face turned bright red.
Don't mess with me. What the hell is going on?
I waved the black hat in front of her face. That's when she finally realized she'd been tricked. Her mind must have gone blank from the shock. "You've been making a fool of me all this time. How does it feel to be the one who's been deceived? Thanks to your loose tongue, I got all the information I needed about your boyfriend and proof of your affair."
You are awful for tricking your wife like this.
She shouted. "Don't you dare say that! You've been cheating for months!" She had no comeback. Her lips trembled with frustration and shame. Then I divorced her. I demanded $20,000 each in compensation from my ex-wife and her lover. The man, who had been on the fast track to promotion, apparently couldn't bear the shame at work and resigned. It turned out that his relationship with my ex-wife had just been a fling he started through the dating app. he dumped her soon after. My ex-wife begged me to take her back, but I refused. I've heard she's still using dating apps, this time supposedly looking for someone serious to marry. But it seems she hasn't had any luck finding anyone.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.